Hello everyone, in this presentation we will provide some tips to employers on how to improve working conditions for their employees with autism. This video is created for employers who wish to learn more about autism. Well, tip 1. Understand what autism is and what are the difficulties experienced by adults with autism. As an employer, you need to understand what autism is and how it affects the person in the first place. Without having the necessary knowledge about the experiences of adults with autism, you cannot empathize with adults with autism. To do so, you cannot take the necessary steps to improve their working conditions. So, as an employer, train yourself about autism. The second tip is that it is not enough to train only yourself. You should also train other employees in your workplace about autism. It is a holistic movement, and everybody in the workplace should take steps to improve the working condition. Moreover, most of the social interaction occurs between employees. Therefore, your employees should learn about the difficulties experienced by adults with autism and how to approach and respond them accordingly. The third is that feedback should be provided sensitively but also honestly. However, employers should be aware that being honest doesn't mean being destructive. So they should try to be honest but also constructive at the same time. Clearly explain why it is wrong and how it can be corrected. While doing all this, it is important to remember that an employee with autism might have low self-esteem. For this reason, provide positive feedback whenever it is possible. Fourthly, reviewing work regularly is crucial. It is always a good idea to make regular reviews for the assigned tasks. This is valid even for employees without autism. With an employee with autism, try to keep these meetings more frequent but less long. Longer sessions might decrease effectiveness, since paying attention for a long time might become a challenge for an employee with autism. Tip 5. Make sure instructions are conscious and specific. Informal and ambiguous instructions will only create unpredictability and anxiety for your employees with autism. Your instructions should specify how to carry out each task from beginning to end. For example, instead of saying, "Let's all have a meeting next week," say, "Schedule a meeting next week on Monday at 2 p.m. with Julia, Peter, George, and you." Tip 6. Encourage time management. As an employer, you can help your employee with autism to manage his or her time effectively. For example, large assignments can be divided into small tasks. Instead of asking large assignments at once, you can proceed by step by asking small tasks. You can supply organizers to your employee with autism. But once you supply an organizer, try to train them on how to use it in the most efficient manner, since it might become a complicated task for them. You can also supply them wall calendar and train them to use specific colors for the calendar, depending on the urgency of the tasks. For example, they can use red color for the most urgent tasks, blue color for the tasks that are upcoming, and green color for the tasks that can be pending. Lastly, provide reasonable accommodations for your employees. Individuals with autism might be oversensitive to noise, so it is crucial to supply noise-canceling headphones to them. In addition to this, an employee with autism should be provided an opportunity to turn off or dim overhead lights, since they might be sensitive to bright lights as well. Eye contact can trigger anxiety, so try to avoid eye contact whenever you feel discomfort. Since touching can be perceived as an invasion of personal space, try to keep touching as minimum as possible. Instead of touching, use verbal terms to display appraisal. This is the end of the presentation. We hope information given was clear, and now you have an idea about how to improve working conditions for people with autism.